Hi everyone, Amber Haley here, and I am joined by Jenna Price.
Native Austinite realtor with Real Broker in Austin, Texas.
That's right. We are both agents with Real Broker, and we're going to give you your February 2026 housing market update. We have Jenna here because she is one of the top agents in Austin, Texas. I got a lot of questions for you since you're the one out there working with buyers, working with sellers.
Boots on the ground. I'm in 3-4 listing appointments a week.
We were just talking before we started recording about how stuff's picking up, so we are going to get into that. And I think this video is going to be really helpful for anybody who is relocating to Austin and maybe is totally not familiar. A lot of the buyers that you and I see are people relocating from the Bay Area. There's a lot of tech in Austin. There's a lot of people moving here, working at Giga Texas, working at Apple campus, working remote jobs. Just a lot of people coming to Austin because it's so business friendly compared to other states. So one thing that I think is really interesting is that I just read that the Austin housing market hit its lowest February over list sales in years. Just 9% of homes sold above asking price. Most homes here usually sell at 96 to 97% of the list price. So this is basically the most balanced market you could say that we have seen since the tech boom. Another thing that I thought was really interesting that I read, I think this was on Redfin actually, they talked about how a lot of the buyers in Austin are some of the most intentional buyers in the entire country right now. They're showing that homes on average right now took 106 days to go under contract. That's the longest amount of anywhere in the US right now. So this is not the 2021 Austin frenzy. This is a different market, and the buyers that are coming to Austin, Texas, they are savvy, they are smart, they are researching, they're negotiating.
Analytical humans all day, and there's a surplus of inventory, so they can take their time. They're out shopping, and they're very pragmatic. We have very educated buyers in our market right now. They know the comps, they know the tax appraisal, they know everything about your home before they step foot into it. Because there's another Redfin statistic that's out right now, but it's 130% more sellers than there are buyers.
Wow.
But that landscape is rapidly changing as we approach spring, and our market is really starting to take off right now.
Yeah, so let's just talk a little bit about, in 2021 and 2022, totally different market, okay? People were panicked. They were panicked everywhere, but I'd say in Austin, Texas, it was really, really crazy. And they're not panicked like that anymore. How long do you think tell us how long some of your buyers are shopping for right now?
I have buyer clients who are wanting to be in urban areas like Travis Heights or Zilker, to be downtown, to have easy access to wellness communities and restaurants and work and everything. And they have been renting for years because they are so strategic. I have 3 different buyer couples alone in 78704 who have been in the market for 2+ years.
Wow. So they're just really taking their time, really, really doing all their homework. I mean, that kind of tracks to me, the type of people that you see coming into Austin, the type of people that live and work in Austin, that it really is that kind of buyer. And now that we're in a market that will allow that, that's really interesting. So what does it feel like out there for you? Are there still sometimes multiple offers? What's going on? What are you seeing?
So the most interesting revelation has happened in my business. I have been in 4 bidding wars in 2 weeks, all in urban areas surrounding downtown. And one of them, interestingly enough, was on the market for 135 days. And all in one day, 4 offers were received. I submitted an offer on behalf of one of my buyers, and we didn't go high enough. And so, we're seeing multiple offer situations in certain areas that are extremely desirable because they have walkability, great schools, close to work, but these are more urban areas where I'm seeing that pop off. In some of the suburb areas that are a commuting distance from Austin, things are still a little bit slower. But in South Austin, I was in a bidding war a few days ago that had 5 offers on it. And
wow, 5.
5. And I haven't seen that since the pandemic. So that's why I say it's slowly changing, because I have my best friend, Kelton. He has a listing that's been on the market forever, and now he's getting 8 showings a day. you know, and
Listing
so we're
agent.
all talking on the phone like, is this happening to you? Is this happening to you? Did you just have 15 people at your open house? Did we all just sit in open houses for the last 4 months with not a single person to come in? So I'm witnessing just boots on the ground. Showings are picking up on my listings. People are getting their taxes done. And all of my buyers have finalized with their tax guide just to make sure that they can put everything in front of the underwriters and get the clear to close. So it's just buyer behavior nonetheless, probably in every market, that you set your New Year's resolutions, you are paying your taxes, maybe your lease is ending, you're accepting a new job, and it's time to get going and get moved. And spring is when the most transactions happen in Austin, Texas. The most of my closings, and just if you scrape the data overall, are going to be May, April. That's when the most sales close in the area. So right now, February is when people are actually boots on the ground, out looking at homes, doing their due diligence for each neighborhood to really understand what is the upside of buying in that area, what are the amenities like, what are the schools like, and what's the likelihood that you can make some money on that transaction in the future.
Yeah, and that's something that I think is really, really important to a lot of the people that are probably watching this, because they're smart. And they kind of want to know. They want to know, you know, what's the equity been, what's expected, how's the value going to go up, how is, you know, the area that they're buying in, what's it look like. There's so much, there's so many different factors in Austin. I mean, in the news, like I've seen like a lot of different signals, like in the tech industry in Austin, like there were some like mega layoffs in the news and all kinds of different things. But I have to say overall, and let me know if you agree with this, I do believe that like Austin is still a very strong like tech base. And I do think that real estate here will have long-term demand.
Absolutely.
Even with these like dips, even with layoffs, even with, you know, it was crazy and now maybe we're, you know, correcting and the pendulum swings and all that. I think like big picture, like the tech scene, the growth, all of it in Austin is not, it's going to keep going.
Absolutely. I mean, we've been a tech city since the early 2000s, and just watching the transformation of some urban areas like East Austin and, you know, South Austin. It's just an incredible place to make money and keep money. And I've spent my whole life here, born and raised, and the amount of entrepreneurs, the amount of creative people that come here, it's really easy to live a healthy life in Austin. We have a lot of green space. We have a lot of great food. Like, I don't ever see Austin really slowing down. And I like to give my buyers kind of like my own little sample of what that looked like with my family. Like, we bought a home in the late 80s for $80,000 in West Austin, and it is worth $800,000 now. And all the time am I selling, you know, homes from families that have stayed put for 10, 20 years, and they're 10xing their investment. So I think when you are a buyer and you're considering making the move to Austin, it's really important for me to understand, you know, what are your goals? Is appreciation your goal? Are you going to sell in 4 or 5 years? If that's the case, we might want to look at resale, because new construction, some of these communities that are great commuting distance, great price per square foot, brand new, beautiful, you're going to probably have a hard time reselling that in 4 or 5 years if that community is continuing to expand for the next decade. And that is the case in Bastrop, Elgin, Manor, Kyle, Buda on the north side, Georgetown, Pflugerville. Like, there's builders that are building out for the next decade. So I even have sellers right now who have contacted me that I sold them the home in 2021 in some of these new construction areas. And they're like, I want to list. And I'm like, oh, no, we had this conversation. Like, we're up against new construction. You're going to probably be cutting a check. So if selling in the next 3, 4, 5 years is important, I'm going to encourage you to look at mature neighborhoods that have appreciation built in over the years. But it's a little harder to be a buyer and see an older home that might need some updates for the same price as, you know, a newer home. But that really boils down to your goals. If we're trying to make some money on the sale, let's go into a resale situation. But if you plan to stay put and you want, you know, an eco-friendly environment, or you want a really tech-forward home, you want something brand new, and you're going to stay there, and you like the schools, you have kids, whatever the circumstance may be, new construction might be a really good solution for you.
Okay, you gave me so many things to think about. And I think that's also why it's so important not only to know what you need to be clear on goal-wise, like what your priorities are, whether that's lifestyle, whether that's commute, whether that's, appreciation. You also need to work with an agent who can like translate that and really understand like the different micro markets, the different areas, and what aligns best with those specific goals.
Totally. And the benefit of working with someone like me is I'm from here. So I intimately know every pocket of Austin. Some agents, they know their pocket because that's where they live and that's where they've been for a few years. But I have an aunt in Westlake, a dad in Georgetown, family out in the Hill Country. I've lived in East Austin. My best friend's out in Liberty Hill. So like all these places I've been going to my whole life. And I pull historical data when we're shopping. Because if appreciation is something that you are focused on, you want to see what it looked like pre-pandemic, post-pandemic. You need to see what home values have raised and dipped because there's definitely a lot of great new construction opportunities out there. But on the resale side, if you're, selling one of them in a few years, it's a little tougher than buying something that's a neighborhood like the one I'm in, which is all the homes are from the 70s and 80s and totally renovated. But they're selling, for 700,000-800,000. And just a few years ago, 5-7 years ago, they were like worth 300,000. So to see that spike in the appreciation from certain neighborhoods that have really interesting things to offer. And you mentioned lifestyle. Like if you think about it in terms of price, location, and condition, maybe pick two that are the most important.
That's a great tip.
Because you can get the price you want and the condition you want, but maybe, you lose out on the location a little bit. Maybe you're driving a little bit further to save some money and get something nice.
Yes. Okay, so here's a question for you. Let's say the average person relocating to Austin, maybe they're a tech worker, they're coming from the Bay Area, they took a job in Austin. What is like their number one priority? The majority of them that you're seeing, like what are they prioritizing the most? Is it their commute? Is it their lifestyle? Like what is it the main thing that you see people choosing?
I think it's commute mixed with schools. A lot of my tech workers have families and they want, their partner to be happy. They want their children to be happy. So they want a community that's going to offer a pool and a playground and walking distance to school. And there's a lot of master plan communities that offer that. So, if you are a tech worker, you probably are looking at Six Creeks in Kyle or Sunfield in Buda. Maybe you're interested in Whisper Valley in Manor or Shadow Glen. There's some different neighborhoods that are really quick commutes to the Gigafactory and to Samsung that I can take you to, where you're going to love the resort-style amenities, the lazy rivers, the gym, the food truck courts. A lot of my clients love Easton Park. They love Mueller. And there's kind of sometimes like they start in one place, and I can almost guess where they're going to go next. And they have a kid, then I'm going to guess where they go next. But as you trade up, my best advice is like to buy something that you can stay in for 5 years. In an area that really is growing and you have the data to show it. And then when you get that raise or you have that next baby or you're ready to get something bigger or in a different area, you just don't buy a lot of stuff, like buy in a neighborhood where you can resell and make $50,000, $75,000 on the sale and then go to that next purchase. And as you climb your way through Austin, you're going to learn which neighborhood really sings to you as far as community and schools and appreciation and just lifestyle in general.
Yeah, that's some great advice. Okay, so homes near, like, let's say Apple Campus, like up north, Domain, homes near like Tesla Gigafactory, they do still command a premium price, but it sounds like it's kind of softened. Would you say that buyers have like more leverage now on price, on things like inspections and on negotiations with those homes, or are you still seeing a lot of them really like holding a premium?
It really depends on how long the listing has been on the market.
Okay.
If you're looking for a motivated seller, that house is on the market now. It's been on the market for the last 90 days. That seller is going to be more likely to negotiate during the option period, give you a lower contract price, maybe pay for title, offer you concessions to buy down the rate. if you're offering on a brand new listing that just hit the market 3 days ago, and they haven't tasted what a buyer's market feels like as a seller, you have so much less leverage. And that's where I've seen some of these bidding wars happen. They're brand new listings, they're priced to sell, they're in a great area. And here we go with multiple offers. And depending on their negotiation style, like it's going to be, it's not a one size fits all situation.
Yeah, it's really not.
Each home, when it comes to resale, has a person who's selling it, and they have a very unique story. And we like to say, like, the 5 Ds, you know, you've got diapers and diamonds and divorce and death, and there's reasons behind the sale. So the motivation is kind of layered in there as well. But the good deals are the ones that have been sitting. And on those, I am seeing sellers pay title policy. They are willing to do a concession to buy down the interest rate. They're flexible on the offer price. Maybe, you know, they counter, but they're aware of how hard it is to get a buyer in today's market when they've been waiting so long already.
Makes a lot of sense. Okay, Jenna, can you give us one or two very specific neighborhoods or neighborhood areas, and give us kind of like what the list price, what we're looking at there? You know, is it new construction? Is it 3-4 bedrooms? What's the range? Or maybe if you have examples of ones that you've had, but what are like one or two neighborhoods that are very, very popular with people relocating to Austin who maybe want that kind of suburban lifestyle that I've heard you describe, with maybe the master plan communities and the schools and all of that? Can you give us a couple?
Well, I think it's going to really start with, like, where are you comfortable on your monthly mortgage? Are we talking about $1 million purchase price? Or are we talking about maybe something in the fours? So if you're want to be in the fours or the fives, and you maybe work for a big tech company, one of the most popular neighborhoods that I've been selling a lot in is Whisper Valley, which is a eco-friendly community. The power lines are buried underneath, so it's a tech housing development, and it's really cool because they have geothermal HVAC, so you can't hear any of the HVAC condensers outside. They're all it's all buried. It's all geothermal powered. That. Really cool, really sustainable, eco-friendly. There's community gardens everywhere. Each home has solar panels. There's about 4 builders there, and some of them are closing out, but they still are building lots. I've contracted with American and GFO in the area, and there's more lots being sold. But that's a great area. It's super close to Tesla, and it's quiet, and it's a wooded area, and the homes are stunning, and the lots are usually greenbelt facing. And so
what do they start at?
They start in the low 4s.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Okay. So you can get a really nice 2,200 square foot 4-bedroom for, you know, $450, $470, that has neutral tones and engineered hardwood floors with quartz countertops and all up-to-date backsplash. Like, it's a truly turnkey experience. So I like that neighborhood a lot when it comes to commuting distance, specifically to Tesla. But if you really want a fabulous experience in Austin, Texas, I always encourage everyone to look out into the rolling hill country, which would be West Austin. There are some new construction communities out there that I have done a lot of work in, like Provence neighborhood, which is going to be in Bee Caves. There's also Lakeway, which has different neighborhoods throughout. The schools are awesome. You have access to the lake. It's a little bit further of a drive, but these are trick-or-treatable neighborhoods with 8 to 11% year-over-year appreciation, even through the dip. So just
8 to 11 through the dip even.
Very, very solid investment and great builders. Some of these neighborhoods have some newer homes, but they're a little tighter in. And some of the, I don't know, like the bigger homes, bigger lots, they're going to be 90s homes, but all of them have been updated. So I love Lakeway. I do a lot of transactions in that area with a lot of tech workers. They love it. It makes sense. There's a lot of complete real estate purchases out there. 3 2s, 4 3s, open to below concept. It's just, you're going to be able to make some money when you resell a home like that. And you're in Lake Travis ISD, and you have a beautiful backyard, and maybe you have a Scott Felder or a Weston custom home that's been lovingly cared for and updated. So those are some areas I love.
This sounds really, really appealing. What is like the price point of some of these areas you just mentioned?
You're climbing. In the west side of Austin, the numbers are going to go up. So like in Lakeway area specifically, in Provence and Bee Caves, you're probably going to be shopping in the high sixes. If you get out even further to Dripping Springs and Driftwood, you can certainly find new construction in the sixes. But, a resale home like in Sweetwater or Rough Hollow, you're probably looking at something in the low sevens right now.
Okay, okay. Now, if I'm relocating, I just signed a contract. I'm coming in, I'm an engineer, and I just signed somewhere in the $250,000 to $350,000 range for my annual salary compensation package. Off the top of your head, what are the first neighborhoods that you're going to recommend to me?
I'm probably going to recommend Lakeway. I just think that looking in Rough Hollow, Sweetwater, the Hills, Falcon Head, Lake Point, these are great schools. These are great areas. This is beautiful homes. It's really, truly Texas Hill Country living. You have the Galleria. I just think that is going to suit that budget. But if you travel a lot or you have a lot of childcare expenses and you don't want a monthly payment that feels a little cumbersome and you don't want to be house poor, I'm going to try to show you probably in the 5s and the 6s, which doesn't necessarily translate to Lakeway. We would probably look in like Dripping Springs if you want to be west. But if you're open to being on the east side, I would focus on Manor. I think that that's a really beautiful growing area. And in Whisper Valley, the neighborhood I was just talking about, there's actually views of downtown Austin, Texas. Which
oh my goodness, stunning.
You wouldn't think, 20 minutes away, but out of the little sliver of, some of your windows, you'll see those big tall buildings. So I think if you're trying to keep it at an affordable monthly payment, then maybe looking over there. And I think also it's noteworthy to check out Kyle. Kyle is booming, and that's going to be a commuter distance. But Manor is the shortest distance to Tesla and to Samsung. It's over there.
Yeah, it's like the most probably popular area where engineers relocating to Austin, working in those locations, are buying right now. And there's clearly a reason.
There's great deals. It's beautiful. You can get a nice size home with a great price and flex cash. And typically, when you're, using a realtor like me, we're going to try to get you a few extra things on top of whatever the sales rep is promising with the builder.
Okay, well, speaking of extra things and exciting things, I got like one more question for you. Because real estate is kind of, it's stressful for people. There's a lot of people have negative experiences. A lot of clients you work with, they'll talk about, oh, my last 10 years ago, I had this awful experience. I want people to have like a really great experience. Like, do you have a story you can share with us of a transaction you had recently with a buyer that was just like a win, and maybe something great happened that wouldn't have happened a year ago or 6 months ago? Something that can positively point to like, this is a good time for a buyer to be buying right now. Do you have anything?
Totally. So as you know, I sit in open houses every weekend. I typically host about 70 to 80, and on really, busy years, 90 open houses a year in the neighborhoods that we are talking about. And I clean up a lot of messes. I have people come to me and say, I just sold my home in another state. It was the worst experience. Or I was working with a buyer's agent, and they didn't want to show me the home. They didn't answer the phone. I don't know what to do. And they walk into the open house and tell me. And I have helped so many people rewrite their story, because this is a deeply personal transaction. It's often not just you. It's maybe your wife, your children, your parents who are involved in making the decision. And it's your biggest asset. You might do it 3 or 4 times in your whole life, if you're lucky. If you are working with a real estate agent who is closing on a transaction every Friday, they are already aware of all the nuances that you're going to experience before you experience them. So I had a buyer recently who, sold in Seattle, cashed out, moved here for tech, ended up in an Airbnb for several months, came into my open house, told me a few horror stories about trying to figure out the real estate market here in Austin. I said, look, I'm from here. Let me help you simplify this. let's consult and sit down and talk about where you're at with pre-qualification, where you want to be at with your monthly mortgage, what you want your life to look like here. Let's go hit some different areas. And in 3 days, just by gleaning information about who this person was and what was really important to them, I was able to help them find the perfect real estate purchase. They've referred me to 3 of their friends now. I am now being passed around at Oracle because somebody had a good experience after.
Did you hear that, Oracle?
Not having
Oracle engineers. Okay, I love that. So it sounds like, I mean, you've had great success, like helping people kind of navigate, especially the emotional side of real estate, but then also cross-referencing that with like the data they need, where they could like really spreadsheet out this decision. It sounds like, and it's favorable for them. It's been favorable for them.
Totally.
Somebody
in the relationship is the data analyst, and somebody is going to be going from an emotional place.
Well, that's a nice balance.
To have like the superpower of being able to live in both worlds is where I pride myself in being able to speak to, the family that is having this decision. And there's so many other tiny factors that are going on that when you work with somebody who has actually been through some hard life stuff, it's a lot easier to really have that connection and feel comfortable to explain, this is what's going on our sale, this is what's going on with the lease, this is what's going on with kids. Because it's not just do the numbers work. It needs to feel good. And when you're buying a home in Austin, Texas, if you don't have the warm fuzzies and you're not loving the experience and you're not celebrating the closing day and getting the experience that you hope for, those are red flags, and you really want to look for some green flags, especially in who you work with, especially the community that you go into, because this is an emotional commitment. And so that's what I love about this job is I get to see people have this idea and feel like, I don't know how I'm going to get there. And then I'm the one to get them there and help them, hand them the keys and roll out a red carpet and bring a cake and just make it all come to fruition. Sometimes it takes a month. Sometimes it takes 3 years, whatever it takes, like we go at your pace. So, yeah.
Okay. Well, I love that. That sounds so exciting. It sounds like, hey, if you're a buyer right now, now's a good time to jump in, especially before maybe the spring market really, really picks up. It's a really exciting time in Austin right now. There's the Austin Marathon today. Did you see any marathon runners?
Oh, yeah. I drove down the Congress Bridge, like right when they opened it up and everybody had their bibs on. And
the energy today was so great. And then, we'll probably come back in a month from now, update everybody on the market, do a special like South by Southwest market report, maybe.
People come for South by and they stay forever. So I love South by.
Is that how so many transplants end up in Austin?
Totally.
Is it South by Southwest? They just love it. They're like, I'm just going to leave my bags and stay. They can call you up.
I mean, it's the San Francisco in the South. Like, it's really easy to live a healthy, beautiful, well-meaning life here and make good money and keep it. So, I do see a lot of people make the transition after spending a week here. A lot of clients that come and like just live in the area in an Airbnb for a week or two. I'll hear from them a year later and they're like, let's do it. I love your city. I've traveled the nation. So I'm always excited when people pick Austin, Texas as their next home.
So everybody who's going to be at South by Southwest in March, just coming up, not that long after we're recording this, give us a call. We would love to help you get to Austin, Texas. Thanks so much, Jenna. That was so helpful. We got so many like good tidbits. And I can't wait to do this again. And if you're watching, let us know in the comments, like what questions you have, what else you want to hear. We'll have all the contact information so you can get in touch with me. You can get in touch with Jenna if you just have questions. If you're going to make a move this year, reach out to us. And this has been fun. We'll see you guys all in Austin.
Yeah.
Bye.